Well, I can tell you about some of the, from my experience, of, and maybe you've had these experiences, of some of the perceptions of Israel and Israelis, and
Right.
you can talk to that. One of the things is that Israel is known for stealing things. First, there's the idea that Israel stole all the land and that it belonged to Arabs, Muslims, Palestinians, depending on who you ask.
Of course.
And the second thing is then from there, the outcome of that is everything else is stolen. For example, hummus and falafel is considered stolen from the Arabs.
Well, if that will solve the conflict, we give you back the falafel and hummus, you know. Falafel is originally from Lebanon, if I understand it right. Well, you know, Israel is a collection of Jewish people from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
From Israel before Israel was established, also.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Jews from that came from Lebanon were Lebanese before they came to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no debate if we stole it because they were Lebanese.
Well, in the mind of a person outside who claims these things, it's Jews from Hungary and Russia who are making falafel and hummus. That's what they think. That is, at least that's my perception of what they think. What they don't realize is that the people who make hummus, falafel, kube, they're from Iraq, Lebanon, Yemen.
Okay, who don't understand that?
People outside. The people who claim that Israel steals these things. That seems to be the...
Well, we'll never... I don't think we ever, Israelis say that well, falafel is the national food here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But I think most Israelis, I didn't ask all of them, knows that falafel is not started in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And there weren't any falafel before Israel. That's kind of silly. I don't think a lot of people will do.
Well, I guess when they hear, what happens is they hear that falafel is the national food, and so they in their mind they think Israel stole it.
Well, again, Lebanese, Jewish Lebanese or Arab Jews that came here brought their culture with them. There were Iraqis before Israelis, and there were Iranians before Israelis. So it's very natural that they will, you know, what do you expect them to do? Forget everything? I mean, they ate falafel there, they eating falafel here. Very simple. But again, I don't think any Israeli will take ownership on the falafel or any like schnitzel that came from Australia, Austria.
Austria,
and on and on. I don't have a lot of examples, but for all Israelis, I think I wouldn't say all because I didn't ask all. Didn't ask no one actually, but it's by a common sense. Okay, Israel is a collection of Jews from different nationalities. So before, so you can't have like everything that is originally Israeli. Maybe, you know, Israelis did a combination of such things and created something that is more Israeli.
Well, and the thing is, that's obvious. I mean, but you know, people who want to claim make some political statement behind it to reinforce this idea that Israel stole things. I assume that, which it pisses me off because if you look at, for example, they claim maklube is Palestinian, for example, and they all eat maklube. You know what maklube is?
I'm not sure, no.
Okay, so it's like rice, and you can put like carrots or cauliflower or eggplant and chicken. Some people make it with beef, I've seen, and you cook it in a big pot, kind of steamed together, and then maklube means afu, I think.
Oh, okay.
And then you turn it over, and it's like this big pile of rice with meat and vegetables.
Never ate it. Okay, but
so for example, I found out, I didn't realize this, which makes total sense. Rice isn't from this area. So this whole idea, I mean, maklube, you know, you could say rice is from Asia. So 100 years ago, they didn't cook with rice.
No.
100 years ago, they cooked with a grain called frike. Which and now it's been replaced by rice because it's cheaper and easier and all those things. So people
and the thing that people need to ask themselves is why are these issues are important at all? And the thing is it's only from my logic. My logic says that if people are getting into silly things like falafel and hummus. No, it's ours. No, that's ours. It's just to continue to demonize Israel and make it. They didn't steal only land; they stole falafel and hummus also, not only land. And
Debka is another one. They say it's Palestinian and Arab, which they forget that 50% of the population of Israel comes from Arab culture. So of course they had their own Debka. There's Tzad Temani, and I don't know if Iran you had that, but
once they came to Israel to
erase
forget and erase everything they ate and did back then, it's silly. People need to understand that if we talk about the land, okay, for Israel to give back the Judea and Samaria and the Gaza Strip, okay? What do you mean to give back? To agree to establish a Palestinian state there is for Israelis. I know that Muslims don't see it like that at all, but they need to understand that from an Israeli point of view, that's a big, big compromise. A big compromise. But Israel will do a lot of things for peace. If Israelis, I think that 80% of Israelis would give back Judea and Samaria, including East Jerusalem, including Gaza, to connect the two also, if they would believe that will bring the end of the conflict.
Why don't they believe it'll bring the end of the conflict? That's what people outside would wonder.
The reality?
Explain the reality.
All right, you have the internet. Go watch Abu Mazen. Go watch all the leaders of the PLO, which is supposed to be moderate. I'm not even talking about Hamas, which is, the opinion of Hamas. He don't want Israel in no case, okay? And he won't stop until the total annihilation of Israel. But that's Hamas, okay? That's only Gaza, So watch Abu Mazen, the PLO leader, talking about and declaring on Arabic, of course, that he will never recognize Israel as a Jewish homeland. And watch other PLO leaders that say that the 67 agreement or the 67 the peace process agreement is only a step in the bigger goal, and they say it. There are their leaders, and if their leaders are talking like that, so what can I say? I mean, they speak totally different in English and then they are in Arabic. And you have a lot of examples of a lot of PLO leaders that's saying that once Israel will evacuate Judea and Samaria, once Israel will give the Palestinian refugee rights, what will remain from Israel? Nothing. That will be the start of the end of Israel. So it's just we in Israel want to do this agreement to finish this conflict, but for Palestinians or Palestinian leaders, it's only a step in the bigger goal. So as much as we want peace, I would give, I would give my life for genuine peace, a real peace. But the reality don't back it up.
Just to sort of confirm what you're saying, it's true. I mean, if you go to most Palestinian cities, big cities, there's huge posters up or signs saying our right of return is an individual right. It will happen.
Yeah.
And that's from the PA. That's from the government.
You cannot say that you want peace, but you don't want to give up the right of return. This is a democracy. If you're going to bring back millions of Palestinians into the Israeli territory, that's not going to be Israel anymore. Ahmed Tibi, which is a Israeli parliament, Arab Israeli parliament member, will become the prime minister.
Okay, so wait, let's go into that, because that's another, the idea of Jewish state. So they believe when we say Jewish state, that we mean that it's a state only Jews can live in, and that the plan is to throw out all the non-Jews.
You have a lot of religions here, all kinds. You have, I don't know exactly how many Muslims, but I think it's about
a million.
million each, which is about 10 or 15%. You have they are in the parliament, in the Israeli parliament, in the Israeli court.
Well, they believe the Jewish state thing is a new concept.
The Jewish state, okay, is born. The Jewish state, you cannot compare the Jewish state to any other Western states. The Jewish it is called the Jewish state because of the Jewish history, because of the Jewish prosecution. This is the place for Jews can come and live without any prosecution ever, never. Because what happened before, and this will remain the Jewish state because of that reason only. You know, if anti-Semitism wasn't exist, and I don't think there was a reason to call you know what? I don't think even Israel would established if there weren't any anti-Semitism. And Israel established from the prosecution and came. So the Zionist leaders came and brought all the Jewish people back to their homeland because of that anti-Semitic things.
Okay, so is there any connection though? Meaning, if Palestinians recognize, what does it mean if Palestinians recognize Israel as a Jewish state? What happens? What does that mean to you?
That if they recognize us, well, that's I think that's the main reason for the continuing of this conflict, the refusal to recognize us as the Jewish state. That's it.
Yeah, but on the ground, what would happen?
Nothing.
Would Arabs be thrown out? Would it become illegal to be a Muslim here?
No, I think even the opposite. Once that will pretty much would make the left in Israel much stronger and will weaken the right movement here, because a lot of the right movement people here are not right because they want on the right side because they want to be bad to the Palestinians, or they want to throw them out or whatever. Okay, they are on the right side because of the reality.
Explain what that means. Explain your process. You mentioned to me before, you used to be left-wing, you used to vote.
I used to be a hard left-wing, very hard left-wing. I voted, only in the last elections, I voted for the leftist
Up
party.
until the left, this last elections.
And
who do you vote for now?
Next election I would vote probably for Likud party.
Okay.
Probably.
Okay, so what caused this change? And what did you believe before that you don't believe now?
Okay, I was ashamed to say I'm living here, I'm still living here, and I had no clue. And I think that a lot of Israelis don't have any idea what they think of the Palestinians from a Western point of view. But you need to, if you want to understand the other side, you have to get into their shoes. And once I got into their shoes and saw everything from their perspective, okay, and I understand that in 48, okay, it wasn't fair for them, for a lot of them, and we don't deny that even. That's why we are agreed to also to establish a state, a Palestinian state. But that's not the question. A Palestinian state in the border of Judea and Samaria and Gaza is not realistic, not because Israel don't want it, but because the Palestinians don't want it. Okay, 80% of the Israelis would do it tomorrow if they would think it will end the conflict.
Okay, so and what caused you to move to the right? What did you see here? I start become very active about my research. I researched a lot, not on the Israelis' history only, but on the Arab world, on the Arab media. They say that the settlements are the obstacle for peace. Okay, why? Because if you want to evacuate a place, you don't build a house there, because a house is something that's long-lasting, right? But what about all the 3-year-old kids in the Palestinian territories, which are being poisoned with satanic hatreds? No other, I can't describe it other ways.
that's not only something that is long-lasting, but it's also active. You know, a house just sits there. Israel evacuated a lot of houses before, and will evacuate more if it will bring genuine peace. But you poisoning a mind. That's a person. You cannot, after 20 years of poisoning, tell him, you know what? Let's make peace. They're not what we told you in the past 20 years, and root it in your brain since you were a kid. Okay, that's a very big obstacle for peace.